How was justice din applied in ancient Israel? Imagine living in a society where fairness and truth are not just ideals but are woven into every decision. That's how justice, or din in Hebrew, was practiced in ancient Israel. It all started with a structured court system called Beit din, which means house of law or judgment. This system was set up by divine command and based on Torah law, which is the core of Jewish ethics and legal principles. At the top was the Great Sanhedrin, a court made up of 71 judges that met in Jerusalem, usually on the Temple Mount. This court traced its roots back to Moses, who appointed 70 elders to help him lead the people. The Sanhedrin had authority over all legal matters, including serious cases like those involving capital punishment. Its decisions were final, and it was led by the Nasi, or president, and the Av Beit Din, or master of the court. They made sure procedures were followed, and justice was served properly. Below the Great Sanhedrin were smaller courts of 23 judges called Sanhedrin Ketana. These courts operated in larger cities and towns. They could handle monetary disputes and sometimes issues involving physical punishment or even death, but only in certain cases. In very small communities with fewer than 120 adult males, courts of 3 judges managed civil cases like property disputes or family law. However, these smaller courts could not impose death or corporal punishment. Judges had to be wise, honest, and God-fearing. They were responsible for hearing cases fairly without favoritism, whether the person involved was rich or poor, native or stranger. They judged with the understanding that ultimate justice belongs to God. When examining cases, courts carefully looked at evidence and listened to witnesses. They sat in a semicircle so everyone could see and hear clearly, making sure the process was transparent. Applying justice also meant that the death penalty was used very sparingly. The sages taught that if a court executed more than once in many years, it was considered too harsh. Justice was balanced with mercy, and the goal was always to uphold righteousness without unnecessary punishment. In everyday life, din was used to resolve disputes over property, contracts, marriage, divorce, and religious practices like kosher certification. The system aimed to keep the community orderly while following divine commandments. It combined legal rules with ethical principles, showing that justice is not just about laws but about moral integrity. In summary, justice in ancient Israel was carried out through a tiered court system rooted in Torah law. Judges were held to high standards, and procedures focused on fairness, truth, and compassion. This approach aimed to reflect divine justice, making it a model for fairness and morality that still influences Jewish law today.